After we completion of the work process administration, the next topic is client administration. So first of all, what is client? What is client, and why we are discussing about the client administration the first. So as soon as you done the SAP installation, you will get the two clients. One is the 000 and 001 clients, right? So 000 001 clients you will get from the SAP. 000 001 clients you will get from the SAP. So, but in these two clients, these are the two clients. These are the master clients. In these two clients, we cannot run our business. We cannot run our business. We cannot store our business data in these two clients. 000 001. We cannot store our data, business data. We cannot store it here. So in this case, we need to create a new client. We have to create a new client. In this client, we have to store our business data. We have to store our business data here. So as of now, you are logging to the system with either 001 or 000. You are logging to the system, right? So 001 or 000, you are logging to the system and you are doing your work. But actually, we should not save our configuration data. We should not save our customization in this two clients, either 000 or 001. In this case, SAP recommended to create a one new client that is called the, so any client you can create it, any number you can give it, depends upon the your customer naming convention, any number you can get. Always the client naming convention starts with the 000 so 999. In between any number you can give it here, right? So any number means already the two numbers already taken here, right? So already taken 000 001. Then apart from this two, any number you can give to your system to store your business data, right? Some people they may put the 100 client, some people 200, some people 101, some people 002, some people 400. Depends upon the your use case, your number. So you can use the any client number. So we can log into the any client. There we can create the business here. That is called the new client, right? First of all, what is client? Why we need client? So client is the business entity. Client is the business entity. So client is a business entity. So where we need to run the business, that is client. That is called the client here. Where we need to run the business, that is called the client. So client is a business entity where we need to run the business, that is called the, so one client here. So within the system, suppose example, you see here, this is the your SAP ECQ system here, right? So here data is client wise. Whenever you install it, here you got the two clients, 001, so 000 001 here, right? So here in these two clients, you cannot run your business here. So you need to create the one more client. You need to create the one more client. You have to create it here. So that is called the client, and we have to log into that client. There we have to run our business. We have to store our code, customization, everything. We have to do it in this client. In this client is the SAP clients. These are provided by the SAP. It contains the only master data, right? So we cannot run our business here. In this case, so what we have to do here, in this case, what we have to do here, you need to create the client here, right? You need to create the client. So to create the client, you need to use the, you need to use the SCC4 is the transaction code. SCC4 is the transaction code to create the client here. To create the client here. Okay, let's go to SCC4 here in the transaction code here. SCC4 here. In the SCC4, you see here, they already two clients are there here. Two clients are there here. Here, you need to create the one more client here. One more client here. Just click on the change button, click on the change button, click on the OK, continue, then click on the new entry. Okay. So here you need to put the client here. Suppose example 100 client, right? So this is the 100 client, client 100. So then description, this is called the description. Here you have to give the client number here. So city, which city? So suppose example Hyderabad, right? So logical system. So here, what is mean by logical system here, right? So logical system here. So logical system means, so for client creation, so if you just click on the browse button, but here you don't have any logical system, no values are selected here, right? So for client creation, logical systems are very important here, logical systems. So dependency is logical system. For client creation, before you go ahead and create the client, you need to define the logical systems. Logical systems, we have to define it here. So why means to identify the client, to identify the to identify the client within the, within the to identify the client within the system or landscape. Within the landscape, you need a logical system. You need a logical systems. The naming convention of the logical system is like, so SID, CLNT, and a client number. Okay, this is the syntax for logical systems. You have to give it here. We need to create the logical system in sale or so BD54 are the transaction codes or the T codes for so logical systems. Okay, you have to use this one, sale or BD54 are the T codes for the logical system naming conventions here, right? To create the logical system. So why we have to create the logical systems for client? So before you create the client itself, we need to define the logical system here. You have to define the logical system here. Why mean? Suppose if you see here, so this is the client, right? This is the system, your ECQ system here. Here you have the one client, you have one more client, then you are going to create the one more new client you are going to create, right? You are going to create the one more client you are going to create here. So here, this client is the 000 client. This client is the 001 client. This is the new client, 100 client you are going to create. But within the SAP system, if you create n number of clients, but the DB is common for all, right? DB is common for all the systems here. This is the database example. This is the database here, right? So her database is common for this all the systems here. Database is common here. It will store the data in the database level. This is the SAP application layer. So this is the DB layer, right? So database, it will store the data here, database layer here. So whatever you do, whatever you create, whatever you store in the application layer, it will store in the database level. But here, each client, it won't create the more tables. It won't create the more table. Only one table entry only here. One table entry. Suppose example, the clients will store in the one table. Example, this is the table name called the T000 is the table, or this is the one of the business data storing here, right? ABC table. So here, table means you have the rows, and columns. You have the rows and columns here, right? Rows and columns here. This is the table example. Okay. In this table example, okay. So here the business data is storing here. So in the 100 client, you have the some data. Sorry, 100 client or 001 or 001 000, you have the data. Whenever you create something here, right? So immediately the data will be saved in the format here in the same table, ABC table. It will store the data. Like you created the employee name you created here, EMP name. Suppose like EMP name is equal to here. So suppose like A, employee ID is equal to 1, right? So then here employee ID, then salary is equal to 5K. Okay. So then, so here you created like this, you created here, right? So again, 001 also you created the one more code. Then here also the employee name equal to A only. Same user, he need access to the this one and this one and this one also, right? Then here the employee number is so 2. Okay. Here the code is, here is salary is same name, but 6K here. Right. Here same 100 client you are creating here. Right. 100 client you are creating here. What does it mean? So every client data is storing into the one table only. Here there is a one field here that is called the logsys field. This field will differentiate, okay, this data is differentiating to the which client. This is the 001 client. So this is the, so which data is this? SAP CLNT 100 client. So this is the which data, ECQ, CLNT, so 000 client, right? So like that, like this, like this here, the logical system field for every table, there is a one logical system is assigned here. So you do here 100 client, then it will come and store into the one more field here. It will create it, but in that field, one logical system entry will be assigned here. So that this logical, based upon this logical system, so this data, this entry, this table entry related to the this logical system. This table entry related to the 000 client. So this table entry refer to the ECD, SIQ, and so 001 client. So like that, this table entry, every table entry, we have the lakhs of table, each and every table, there is a one log sys field. In this field, so this logical system entries will be differentiated. This logical system entries will be differentiated the data. So in this way, we can simply identify, okay, this is the 100 client data. This is the 001 client data, but table name is only one. So to identify the client within the landscape or within the system, you need the logical system. That's why we have to first of all create the logical systems. Logical systems. So here, before you creating the logical system, creating the client here, we are in the middle. But here logical systems are required here. So that's why you need to take the new session again. New session again. Go to so logical system creation. Either BD54, you can directly create the logical systems here. BD54, you can directly create the logical system here. Click on the new entry. So logical system naming convention is SID, CLNT, the client number here. SID, so SID, client number, naming convention is different. Okay, any name you can put it out here, right? So here, this is the naming convention we have to give it here in the logical system field. SID, CLNT, client number here, right? So then I have created the here, I just saved the changes into the one of the transport request for move to the next system systems here, right? So the data is getting saved here.
Can we create one more logic system as well with the same client? Is
With
it possible?
one more logical system means, so it
With
is
the
the
same
new
client.
same. You want to
Yeah.
create the same.
Yes.
So it says that is already existing in the same key, right?
Okay, with only one client, we can create only one logical system, right?
One client, one logical system. That's it.
Yeah.
Either you have to change it here, entry. So then it will create. See here data was saved. So any differentiation you have to create it here. Means one client, only one logical system. One client, why do we need two logical systems? Not required, right? Why? Because data is only one. Again, it will be difficult. So that's why, so you created the logical system. Then when you come to the here, you see the logical systems which you created in the BD54, it is showing in this entry here. Just you are creating the 100 client, then you have to define only 100 client only. If you define the 101, again there is a problem with the data fetching. So you are in the 100 client, then when you're fetching the data, it will display the 101 client. Why? Because you have given the logical system is 101. So it's a very problem here. That's why just whatever the logical system, same logical system, same client, you have to give it here. So this is the very important here. That's why for the creation of the client, the logical systems are very important. Logical systems are very important here. So why means to identify the client, within. Why? Because in one system, for development systems and quality systems, we will create the multiple clients. Tomorrow we will going to create the one more client. Tomorrow we will going to create the one more client. But all the clients will store the same data in the same table, right? Same table will store the data here, right? Sorry. So that is the reason it will store the same data. That is the reason here. So there is a one logsys field, logical system field, which will differentiate the this client data. Why? Because in this client they have the same user. In this client also same user or same data. In this client has the same user, same data, but passwords are different. Then our user can log in here. So yeah, the logsys field will differentiate this data is refers to the which client or which client system and everything. It will differentiate. That's why. So we don't have any duplicates, any inconsistencies. One table, it will store the all the clients related data and everything. Okay. So that is the reason here we have created the client here. So right. So 100
We
client.
cannot create like master clients now or logic system because it is default order. We have to do it.
We can create it, but you no need to create the logical system for master client. Okay, so no need to create. So here the currency role, the role of the currency here, the role of the currency is, so from which client you are going to create, which client currency. Suppose if it is the Indian, then you can type INR. So if it is not Indian, then you can type whatever the client you are going to create. So all the country codes are available here, country currencies are available. Just you can define the currency here, right? So you can define the currency here. So currency here. Then what is the client you are going to create? Is it development client, test client, training client, education client? So what is this client here? It's the production. So production system. So here one more question. So how the system will be differentiated, how the people knows. Okay, we know. Why? Because D means development, ECQ means quality, P means production, like that we know. Then how the system knows this is the quality system, development system, how the system knows means the based upon the client role, the based upon the client role which you are defining here. Based on that, it will define the role here. Is it customization and development client? Is it the testing client? Is it a production client? Is it a training client? So which client is this? So here the client role will differentiate the role of the client here, right? Client role will differentiate here. So that's why we have to define the client role here, the first of all. So if you define the client role, this system is related to the training client, training system. Only training users will log in. It's not for the production. Production means it's a very so dangerous means. So you cannot choose any changes here, anything here, production. Why? Because all the business users will log in here. So we need to close the settings. Depends upon the client role here. Depends upon the client role. These are the client settings here. These are the client settings here. These are the settings here. Means suppose in the training client, so it is okay. Everyone can do the changes here or changes without automatic recording. So he can do the changes, but no need to recording it here. He can do the changes. The changes will be recorded, which means what he is doing, what exactly he is doing, all those things. It is the production client. No changes are allowed. No changes are allowed. So definitely in the production system, we cannot do any direct changes in the system here, right? In the production, we cannot do any changes in the system here in the production. So why? Because in the landscape, we have the development system, quality system, and production systems. We have three systems. We have development and quality and production. We have the three systems. We have development, quality, production here. So the changes, then how can you say this is the development system, quality system, production system here? So normally why? Because you installed, then development, quality, production. But how others knows? Others means how the business users knows, or how your functional people knows and everything here, IT teams knows, or how the new person knows here. Depends upon the client name, client role. So the client role for development and production systems means development, quality, test, development, quality. We all these systems, the client role is always modifiable, modifiable, modifiable. But the production system should not be the not modifiable. If the production is modifiable, every user will directly log into the production system. They can do the some table level changes and everything here. So that's why it's not the recommended way to direct changes in the production is not allowed here. So you have to come from development, then development to quality. Then once you've done the quality changes, testing is successful, then only we have to move the changes to the production system. Then only we have to move the changes to the production system here. So this way, one serial wise, one sequence wise, we need to follow the one plan here, right? Series wise. That's why if it is a training system, we can allow the changes here. So this is the client specific changes, means specific to this client only, specific to 100 client. You want to do the changes, then that is fine. So cross client changes means it's differentiated for the all the clients. From in this client, you can do the changes of the other clients also, other client data also. So which means you don't need to log into the other client data, other client repository. So those changes you don't need to do. So for login to the other systems, you need to perform. From in this client also, you can perform. So you are in the 100 client, you can do the changes of the 000 client object also. So that you want to allow, or you want to do, don't want to allow, no changes. If you want to allow, changes to the allowed. So you want to only cross client customization data or repository data you want to allow. So those things here we can do the changes here. Those things we can do the changes. This is called the client settings. Client settings here. So tomorrow you may get multiple times, you may get the request in the daily basis here. Could you please open the client? Could you please open the client to perform the changes? Or the functional team will ask you, please allow me to do the changes in the system, in the ECQ system. That time we need to change the client settings to the allowed, and allowed we have to change it here, right? So this is the client protection level here. So no restriction, that is fine. So no restrictions mean anyone, anything can override the data in the 001 client, right? So no overwriting means no one cannot override in the 001 client. Any data we cannot override in the 001 in the client. Suppose anything we cannot override it here. So those things here we can set. This is called the client protection levels here. Protection levels here. Then just click on the create button. Then the client got changed here. The data was saved. The client created here. Here we have the one more client, that is called the 100 client got created. 100 client got created here. 100 client got created here. So this is the client creation and assigning the logical system here, and changes of the client settings here. Changes of the client settings here. Changes of the client settings here. Right. So this is the client creation So you can see the master clients, it's always the reference client. One is the one is the customization client here, customization client here, customizing client here. So here the changes are allowed. Normally we have to change it after the installation is complete. This is also training client we created here, right? So automatic recording of changes, changes of the both are allowed here. Cross client changes, client specific changes are allowed, which means so persons directly can do the changes in the in this system. In this system, we can do the direct changes in this system. Okay. So this is the client specific settings changes in the systems here. Client role changes here. Client role, which means we created the new client in the system. We created the new client in the system. So now we need to log into the new client. We need to log into the new client here, right? We need to log into the new client here. So how to log into the new client? That is a secondary thing. But this is the way we have to create the client. We have to go to the SCC4. There you need to click on the change button. Here, click on the new entry, new entry. Then you can create the client here. You can create the client here. So like that, we can create the n number of clients. We can create it here. N number of clients. We can create it here. Same client you cannot create. Already 100 client is created. You cannot create the again 100 client here. It will be duplicate again. So that's why you need to create the one more client. You have to create it here, right? One more client you have to create it here. So different client, different logical system. So you are going to create the 200 client, but when you see here, there is no 200 client related logical system here. Then again, you need to go to the sale or BD54. There you have to define the logical system. Then come to the here. Then you need to fill the all the details here. So tomorrow, if any request comes to open the client, close the client means open the client means open for changes. To do the changes, we should open the client, which means so that time maybe client settings are no changes are allowed, no changes are allowed in this client. So which means tomorrow the person comes, the functional or development teams asking you to do the changes in the system. So which case, so he is asking us to open the client, open the system. Then click on the automatic recording of changes. Then here the first option you need to choose it for the changes are allowed. Here you need to choose the this one. This two you need to choose it here, save it. So then once he done the changes, once the person done the changes, again he will ask us to close the client. Then we will do the no changes are allowed, no changes are allowed. Click on the save button. So like this, we will do the, so we will open the client, we will close the client here. We will open the client and we will close the client here like this here. Okay. So this is the client.
But here we did not provide a logical system. No?
Yeah, we have not just here I provided, right? Just sample I have shown here. Here I have provided, right, 100 clients. So when you create the remaining clients, you have to mandatory, you have to provide it here. That is a very important to create the logical systems. Then after that, come to the client screen. Then here you have to provide the logical systems and everything. You have to browse it here. Okay. So that is the very important thing. So this is the client creation, right? So creating the clients here. So then, sir, whenever we log in, we are logging to the just 001 client. We are logging here. 001 client we are logging. So now I have created the new client. Then I need to log into the 100 client. Then now for which user I have to use it here. Which user I have to use it here, right? But because you just created the client, not the users, right? So, but whenever you install the 000 001, so we are using the SAP star or DDIC users we are using here, right? Those are the master client. So these users are only allowed in these two clients only. But manually you have created the 100 client here. Then which user we have to log in here? Which user we have to log in here? So that is the different concept again. Okay, that is the different concept here again. So for login to the newly created client. Okay. So any questions on the newly creation of the client and logical systems?
So in real-time system, we have to use SAP Star and DDIC two users to create a client in real time.
Yeah, otherwise not the SAP Star DDIC. Whenever you log into the system, you will create one basis user, one dummy user, you have to create it. From that user, you need to do the all the configurations and everything here. Why? Because whenever you build the system, after building the system, so no one cannot log in. Only basis team can log in with these users. So we have to log in. They we have to create the one dummy user. Same as like now we created the one basis user, right? You have to log in with the basis user. So from there we need to from there we have to follow the procedure. From there we have to create the all those things.
And sir, SAP Star and DDIC, these two users come automatically when you are installing SAP.
Yeah, I think you are again you are in the first class question you are asking. Yes, right. That is what I am telling, right? SAP Star DDIC users will come by default after the installation only in the
Okay.
000 client and the 001
Master
client.
clients. Yeah.
No, why I was asking that these two are actually automatically coming means these are used only for client creation. That's why client creation and administration part for SAP.
But client creation, now I logged into the basis user, I done it, right? So that's why these two tools, you cannot use it after as soon as your installation is done. So you definitely will log into the any one of the user, right? DDIC or DDIC, DDIC user, you will use it, you will log into the systems, right?
Okay,
Then
okay, sir. Okay, that's
DDIC,
why.
you will log into the systems. Then here, here you cannot use this super users for anything, any changes here. So that's why you need to create the one user. One user you
Okay,
have
sir.
to create it. Basis or basis one user you have to create it. So then but you can log into this user. You can create the users here is already exist. You can create and you can use it here. Okay.
Okay,
You can log in and from this user you can log in. Then sign out from this user. Log off from this user. Then log in to the basis user, then you can do the changes here. Why? Because it's a it's a master client. So just that users only for the, so only specific use cases only we have to use it, not for all the changes, creations and everything here. So that's why we have the basis user, log into the basis user, you can do the changes.
I have one query. Is it right or wrong? I just want to confirm it. Say if suppose I created the clients. Before that clients, I will create a logical system by using the BD54. Okay.
Right.
After that, I will create a one new client. It is done. Suppose like that, I have created 4, 5 clients. But here in users, you are telling to create a user now. In that user, we can use multiple clients as well.
No,
With the same username.
yeah, same user in
No,
the multiple
we
clients you
can
can
log
create
in.
it. We can log in
We
and
can
you can
log in.
each
Okay.
client you need to create the user, not the system wide. User creation is for the system specific, not the system specific. It's the client specific. You have the 100 clients means same user should be exist in the same user should be exist in the each and every client. Why? Because the user data is the client specific. So which means you created the user in the 100 client. So shall I log into the 200, 300, 400, 500 means it's not possible. So same user should be exist in the 200, 300, 400, 500 client also. Then only can log in. Why? Because the user data is the client specific data, not the cross client data. So which means if it is a cross client data, if you have the user in the 100 client, you can log into the another clients also. But it is a client specific. It's a client specific means specific to this client only. Though only you can log in only this client only.
Oh, it both be interlinked like user and clients.
Right. Both are dependency.
For the good practice, whenever we do the practice, we need to log in into our client and we'll do the practice, right?
Uh, yeah. No, so each person no need to create the every client, but practice purpose we can create it. But one client, multiple users can log in. Then
Login, yeah.
you can do the practice. but we should not log into the 001 client or so 000 client. Why? Because these are the SAP client, it contains the SAP data. So we should not touch SAP data in so 000 data. So that's why we have to log into the our own client which we created 100 client. Then we have to log in, and we have to do. So then how can I log in here? Well, because initially, first of all, we should log into the SAP star with the DDIC, right? We don't have any users here. Why? Because these users, it won't work. These users and this user password, it won't work here. So then how can I log in here? So here, to log into the system here, we need to enable the emergency user. We need to enable the so emergency user, we have to enable it. Emergency user enabling. That is called the SAP star with the password is pass. Just password and pass. Why? Because for the newly created client, we cannot log in with SAP star with our own password, DDIC with our own password. Just we have to enable the SAP star with password is the pass. We have to enable it here. So we have to enable for this one. If you enable this one, we can log into the any new client, we can log in with the SAP star with pass. We can log in here. Just SAP star. So then password is just pass. We can log in here. So, but here we are unable to log in. Why? Because we need to activate the emergency user. For activating the emergency user, we need to do the some changes in the system here. That is called the one more new topic will come. That is called the profile parameter changes. Why? Because to activate the emergency user, we need to change the one parameter. We need to change the one parameter. That is called the login / no underscore. There is a parameter we have to change it. So that I will explain you tomorrow. But today you can practice it, how to create the client, then how to define the logical system, then how to assign the logical system to client. Okay. So these three things you can practice it today. Okay.
Sir, I may say like logical, depending upon the logical system, the data will be saved in database, right?
Right.
So with the system only, right?
Right.
If system is not defined, the data is not able to save into database level, right?
Yeah, it will save the data, but it's in the dilemma. Suppose take example, this is the one of the big table here. Okay, big table. So in the big table here, let me define. So let me define here. Okay, so let me define here two entries here. One is the employee number example. So employee name. So employee. So maybe salary. So okay, many fields come. Okay, let me define here EMP name, employee name here. EMP name, EMP number, EMP city, which city is, EMP, what is that? What field you can give? So EMP
module.
Yeah,
Like
suppose like module. Okay, then additionally we have the log sys field, logical system entry. Okay, so for this one, so employee name is called the Ravi. Employee name is the 001. Okay, employee city is the Hyderabad. Right, employee module is the suppose like MPC. So logical system field, right? So that's why ECQ CL and 100 client data. So, but same user exists in the, so we have to create in the other data. Same user is there, but is in the different module here. So is in the Bangalore. So, but same course, but here logical system field is ECQ CLNT. So same 100 client only we can define it. No problem. Okay, right? So we can define it here. So any one of the parameter is different here. If it is any one of the parameter is same here, either this is also 001 and this is a duplicate data, right? Already exist. So it cannot save it here. Here, in any one of the parameters should be the different. Any one, all four same, sorry, all three same, one is different means fine, right? Should be different. Here, you are creating one more user you are creating, called the, so ABC you are creating, but here the client number is 0001 data, then here is called the, so Kolkata, and same MPC, but you have not defined the logical system here. So you have not defined the logical system. Tomorrow from your front end, from your browser, a front end, you want ABC user, then you want to ABC user means, then how data will fetch it here? Why? Because in the front end you have the selection criteria. Suppose like you are pulling some filtering conditions here. You are pulling some filtering conditions in the front end. Suppose in the set screen you are giving the, so I want employee data. So I want 001. I want so 100 client employee data. In this case, you will get these two entries you will get. These two entries you will get from the database level. So this is the same user, but different parameters he is having. So then when you are searching, you don't, so when you are searching, you have given the empty, you don't, you need without client details, you need who are having the without logical system assigned. So then you will get this entry. Then what you can do this entry here? This is for the which client you created. So which client purpose you have not assigned any client here. Then how this user can log into the his profile then? Why? Because whenever user log into the system, here, whenever user log into the system, it is asking the client, right? Then here you have not assigned any logical system here. Then how this user can log in, right? So maybe sometimes you miss sometimes. So that's why, so system will be in the dilemma. You are searching from what you are going to search here, right? So that's why definitely whenever you, from any client, whenever defining here, the logsys field entry will be defined based on the which client you are going to create the logical system. It will be defined here. Suppose let me show you in the system one table here. For tables data, where can we see? In SE11 or SE16, we can see the tables data here. So there is a USR02 here, table for the all the users related data here. So this is the one table USR02. All users, either 000, 000, 100 client, different clients users data will store into the one table here. So you have some users in the 001, you have some users in the 000. Then so all these users will be in the same client, same here only, right? So here you can see. So all these are the so 001 client. All these are the 001 client here. All these are the 001 client here. 001 client here. If I create one more client in the 100 client, suppose like 000, what I am doing here, I am going to create the one new user here in the 000. SU01. Same user I am trying to create in the 000. We have one topic for user creation, so don't worry, there is a security concept that time. There is an error, it's not creating, some issues with the system. So then whenever you create the new client, so it will come like, so 100 client. So this is the 100 client user, same user it will come, 001 basis. So 000 basis it will come. So that whenever you are logging, so your user is exist here. Your user is exist here. So you can log in with the same user. You can get tomorrow if you are pulling the data. So I need 000 client basis user details means so to only 000 client basis user details only you will get from here, not the 001 client. So here
Yeah,
the
if we not define the logical system, it will get confused between 001
right.
and triples.
Yeah. It will get
Yeah, got
confused.
it.
System will get confused, and we will also get confused here. Which
Right.
client data like. So if you have the logical system, then so data will be pulled. So we can get like, okay, this is the 001 client data. Yeah. Basically, to identify the data, to identify the client within the landscape, we need a logical system. That's it.
Right, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So please practice it. Tomorrow I will explain